And boom. Alrighty. So, welcome back to Fredio Live. Sorry we have not tuned in a little bit. Trying to make some improvements, and so you will see some things in the future. Excited that we are still able to do continue on with our reachable reconciliation topics. And as you know, it's all about helping people have the conversations that they would not normally have. And so today I'm excited to have two wonderful individuals. One, my friend Peter Pizzuto, who is are you a high school pastor or the youth pastor of all?
All the above.
All the above, right?
Student pastor at Rivers Crossing.
Student pastor at Rivers Crossing, which is a neat spot to be at. That's a whole theater deal where you just flipped it and made it a church, right?
Yes, yeah, theater gone church.
Yeah, that's neat. That's neat. And then we also have Josiah on today. And I'm not going to say Josiah's name because teens don't like to let y'all know everything that's going on. So we ain't going to tell you everything. You just need to know that it's Josiah, all right? Look like my phone's on a little slant, so people are going to be watching it like this, you know? But no problem with that. You know, we always like to have a topic that's relative to help people learn how to have conversations that are difficult for them, because sometimes people want to learn and understand, but they're hesitant because of their backgrounds, because of their upbringings, and maybe because they're, not an extrovert. So even though they want to learn about other people, they're not sure how to have those conversations and those dialogues. And we've had a few of these already with adults, but I'm excited today because we're going to have a little insight into the high school life. With the way things are going on with our country, I won't get into the political views and all the other dialogues that are going on, but certainly it's been ongoing, from the tragedies we see happening to the schools to the tragedies we see happening in the streets, right? To obviously the things we see going on politically, and then, even recent, what's going on what's happened with Kavanaugh and, and the decision making that's taking place there. And it's crazy because people are like just slamming each other. So I know you're a teen, so you don't get on Facebook like we do, like adults. We live on Facebook, and you guys look at that like, yeah, whatever. That's old people's kind of communication. But that's where we communicate. That's for an adult, you get like 50 likes on Facebook, and we're like, yeah, so popular, right? But for you all, it's like, oh, who's reading my story? I don't know. I don't even know. I don't want to try to act like I know that stuff. However, I know some of the struggles that we're dealing as adults, and many people feel like a lot of the tension is lessening, but I'm certain that there are still tensions going on even in the generations that are coming up. What year are you in?
In 2019, I'm going to be a senior.
Okay, so Josiah's getting ready to be a senior, right? And he is, and I think my cell phone is like falling even more every time we get, and it's okay. So you're going to be a senior, and talk a little bit about yourself while I straighten this out here, all right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I came to Ohio back in 5th grade.
Okay.
And I was at Florida before that, and I had actually, in between Florida and Ohio, I actually moved to D.C. for a while. So I've been sort of around here and there.
Oh, you're D.C. Now, I grew up in Maryland.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I was born in Baltimore.
Okay.
And then grew up in Columbia, Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. Listen, I usually like to start off with a story and share with people, but today I'd like you maybe to start off with a story. So us sitting here and those listening, can hear what the pulse is in some of the teenage life. So, maybe share a story of impact as it relates to culture and race that is surprising is still happening at this time.
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest stories that I remember is we had been at this pep rally at my school, and we were sitting there, and I saw this girl that I've been feeling for a while, and I was like, "Yo, my friend, like, dude, I think she's really cute."
Yeah.
Like, I think
So that's still going on. That's nothing's changed there, right?
I don't think that will ever change.
Right.
So I was like, "Yo, man, I really like that girl over there," and he looked back at me and said, "Nah, don't even think about going after her. You're still a nigger," and that was. That had a huge impact on me, and I never ended up going after her because of that thought in my head.
So wait. So and that's interesting. Even the fact, like, using the N-word and calling you a nigga, even with the complexion that you have, is even still more surprising, right? I mean, and so it's just a group of folks, or one person said, like, this was a pep rally, and he just says it, boom, just out like that.
Yeah, it was him and a whole bunch of other people that were supposed to be my friends at the time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And were they joking, or it was just free language? Did he feel like it was cool? Because, sometimes you have some people that feel like they're so cool, they can just say that, I'm hip with the lingo, so they feel like they're free to use the N-word. Or did you think he meant it in a derogatory sense? Not saying that's cool either, right? But just how did you interpret that?
I interpreted that as he was personally saying that I wasn't good enough because I was this color, when maybe he could have been saying that he could have been joking.
Yeah.
But that's still such a hurtful word towards me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I can't, and Peter, I mean, you're over student ministry, so like, it's enough being a student pastor, but in the way things are today, are you hearing other stories like that, or how do you handle teens, especially even Josiah, being one of them, when they come and share stories like that? I mean, tell me what's happening in your world with that.
Yeah. First off, thanks for having us on today. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you and creating these conversations. Love you and all that you're doing. And it's been great having Josiah in my student ministry for the last 4 years, seeing him grow and develop as a leader. And, I've been able to walk side by side with him. But I think what I see the most is high schoolers just throwing words around like that.
Yeah.
Like they're throwing grenades around and not even realizing it. Just being super careless, whether it's, conversations like that are very normal.
Wow.
Unfortunately. It's still, again, we think we're making progress, but it seems like, well, I don't think we're making as much progress as it seems like we think we're making.
Sure.
Because this is a normal conversation in the high school life. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. So what I'm trying to do is to just help them understand that their words can deliver life or death in that moment, and especially how he received that.
Sure.
How hard that was. So so these are conversations we're having on a pretty regular basis. I just see students just not thinking with throwing words around like that and not even thinking twice about it.
Right.
It's not even registering at all. Not even close.
Sure. And I was, even though I asked you that question, I knew it wasn't positive, because, if somebody says you're still in, then it's basically saying you're still less than, or whatever they want to use in terms of meaning for that word. But it certainly wasn't one to elevate you and be like, you're still the bomb, right? Yeah. It was nowhere in that class. And I think that's what concerns me just as much as what's happening today as it relates to adults and managing life, is that we still have students and teens and young adults that are still going through the same thing. And so, Peter, I mean, I don't know how we change that. And maybe, Josiah, maybe you have some suggestions, because I believe that there's some other teens that are probably in settings like yours. Now let me ask you, so that was one incident, okay? So are there multiple incidents that happen, you don't have to name the school, all right? Because there's a school in Cincinnati, but you don't have to name the school, right? But is this a pattern, or is this just an isolated incident?
Yeah, this is a pattern. This is like every day, ever since 3rd grade up into probably my sophomore year. And that's when it started getting less and less frequent.
Yeah.
But it still happens on a regular basis.
Wow. So, I mean, like, is that because you act crazy, you know, and you act hood, you know what I'm saying? And you walk around with your headphones and be like, yeah, or I mean, like, are you bringing this on, you know, because there's something crazy that you're doing, you know, or it just happens. I know the answer to that. I'm just kidding. 3rd grade. So you weren't here in 3rd grade, though, were you?
No. At that time, I was in Florida, and while I was in Florida, it wasn't even just white people saying that, you know, I was this and that because of what I looked like, but it was also Hispanic people as well. And I was one of only 2 people in the whole school who was black.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And in your current school, is it are the numbers pretty much the same? Are they, you know, is it predominantly white school, or is it kind of balanced?
Yeah, it's mostly white. There's probably about, I'd say, 10 black people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Well, you know, I think that this student life is definitely one that, you know, we want to continue to have more dialogue about, learn about, but so that we don't tie our audience up, because, you know, this is just the beginning. If I don't care how different we may feel as it relates to what's happening in society, what our political views are, there's got to be a heart for all of us that is concerned when people are calling other people those types of names, right? I mean, when you take away everything, if your heart is just like whatever, then you're a cold person. Like there's like you, and I just believe that more people care than they don't care. They just don't know how to care. And so, in kind of as we close up this moment, there's some other teens that are probably in the same type of environment that you have been in, you know, throughout the years. And so if those teenagers or even the adults who have teens that may be going through them, if they're experiencing some of the same, what are 2 or 3 things that you have learned how to use to maybe overcome the situation or make it better?
Yeah. So if you are going through that situation, I know it feels like, you know, you're trapped in, you know, everybody is like that, but I promise you, not everybody looks down on you because of what you look like. Yeah. There's always going to be people who will be willing to be there for you and willing to help you out. Yeah. So you just have to find those people. Okay. Find those. It may only be like 2 people, but find those people, and I know that they will give you the rock on what you need. Is
that a student? Is that an adult? Is that a youth pastor? Is it a community person? Mm-hmm. Or is it just whomever?
Yeah, you can. There are plenty of students that are out there. It took me a while, but I definitely found the right group of students that are able to help me out and became my very close friends. And even adults like your youth pastor or even your teachers, they will also be willing to help you out through that. That's
good. And that's one. You got another?
Yeah, the other one is to forgive those, you know, who's hurt you.
Man, I don't know. That forgiveness thing. Oh, that's right. We're in the gospel Yeah. You know, you call me one of them words, man. I'm like, hold up, Lord. You know, okay, I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead. Forgiveness.
Yeah. Well, once you find that,
Right. Because you called me that, man. We finna get at it. No, okay. Okay, go ahead.
So when you find the people who are able to support you, forgive the people who's hurt you in the past, knowing that you don't have to go back to those people. Yeah. Now that forgiveness will help you, but it will also be able to create, you know, a path for you to be able to find a middle ground with those people.
That's good. That's good, man. That's wise. Really wise.
And I think there's a cool part the end, the story wasn't done at that moment, and that's what's neat about Josiah's story is he's lived out these things that he shared, and you guys are still friends, and you still care about that guy. And I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we've talked about that, and that's what's cool is that he's lived those out and seen good things come from that.
That's great. That's great. Well, so that we can honor the time, I mean, this is a great discussion. I'd love to come back, maybe do a part 2, maybe get another student involved. So, Peter, if you have another student, I think that would be great. And, have you back as well to interact. Maybe you can even lead that conversation. I think that would be really rich. And for those of you listening, we hope that you heard not only what's current in student life still, but also the nuggets that Josiah dropped on how he's learned how to carry on even in spite of the challenges in the surroundings and in the schools. I also want to challenge you, if you're someone in Cincinnati and you're a student or you're an adult, my man Peter, Rivers Crossing, it's located where?
Right across the street from Great Wolf.
Right across the street from Great Wolf? Kings Island, right? Yeah, man, because people, there are other people. Yeah, so if you're not from Cincinnati and you happen to be visiting in the city, you know where Kings Island is. So right across from Kings Island, you'll find Peter, and you might even see Josiah walking through there like, whoa, right? Okay. Thanks again for tuning in. If you have any comments, any suggestions, or anything that you'd like to hear from us on our next podcast, we'd love for you to share. So please make sure you put those in the comments. All right? Thanks and take care. Hold on. And I think we're still going here. Yeah.